Hello. Okay, my name's John Fairhurst. Play guitar and sing songs, sometimes on my own, sometimes with my band. There's Toby Murray and Peter Piscopo, which is more like rock and roll stuff. Otherwise I play a lot of blues, a lot of folk. Well, my dad's sort of like an avid listener of the blues and all sorts of things, to be honest. Like, I used to get played like, yeah, all sorts of different music. And my dad sort of plays like finger picking blues slide guitar, not professionally, but he's a damn fine player. If you leave the guitar around long enough, then he'll pick it up and play it. But yeah, he's elusive. Let's call it elusive. And yeah, he just sort of, I got brought up listening to like Tom Waits and Captain Beefheart and all sorts of things, like loads of early country blues stuff. So I guess it was sort of always in there. My dad told me a little while ago that when I was born, he brought me home from the hospital and played me Trek Mask Replica by Captain Beefheart for about 3 months on repeat, which is a particularly weird album. It took him years to tell me that, actually, after hassling me for a long time about, music. And he was like, hey, you played your Beefheart for the first 3 months of your life. I was like, what the hell else am I supposed to do then? That was it. That was done from birth. That's it. So yeah, I guess that's where everything started, really. And then I met a man called Krishnamurti Sridhar, an Indian sarod player. He's still a good friend of mine. When I was quite young, like 7 or 8, something like that, he came to stay at my parents' house. As a friend of theirs had been living out in India and brought Sridhar around. So he was probably the sort of first really sort of, well, I'll say serious. I mean, the man is a complete international master of his art, sort of blew my mind completely just with his whole being, and his musical capability was just astounding, and I was sort of like, well, that's what I want to do with the rest of my life, really. Even though I didn't necessarily get that at the time. I started playing guitar when I was probably like 10 or 11 years old, sort of seriously. I remember like, there's a few things, I remember like, you hear things, but then when first time you actually really hear something, like one of those moments was like hearing Voodoo Child when I was about like 12 or 13, I guess. And that was just a complete game changer. I was like, well, that's it. That's what I want to do. And then when I went to college, I met like my philosophy tutor. He was a real awesome blues guitar player by the name of Mike Allerton. And he used to like just give me tapes of old blues stuff like Mississippi Fred McDowell. And I didn't even know what most of the stuff was, to be honest. He'd just give you a tape and be like, listen to this. So he'd sit there for hours, like, pre-YouTube days. Yeah. So you couldn't see what someone was doing and trying to figure out the tunings and like, what the hell's this? Or like, what's this insane bottleneck this guy's playing? And yeah, loads of things like that. Well, actually, that was when the blues really started to sink in with me. I think it was just, yeah, around that point when I was like sort of 16, 17, I suppose. And then, I travelled all over the world, different places, hearing different kinds of music, Southeast Asia, and playing with like dig players, like Aboriginal players in Australia, and musicians from all over the world, really. You sort of take influence and ideas from all sorts of different places, and they all mix themselves up together and come out of whatever mongrel thing it is that ends up coming out of your hands and out of your face, Yeah. Well, I'll definitely come back to like K. Sridhar. His sarod playing, his understanding of music, his musicianship, his mastery of the instrument. People like him and Ravi Shankar, achieved a wildly high level of musicality through a lot of practice, Basically that's what everything's down to, is a lot of practice. They're definitely, like, it's Ravi Shankar and Krishnamurti Sridhar. I guess like Paco de Lucia, the Spanish guitarist. Jimi Hendrix for sure now. I'm playing a lot more electric guitar again now.
Right.
Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, Johnny Winter, because he was electric slide guitar player. He's someone I got to tour with in France the year before last, which was amazing. I went to tour with one of my sort of guitar heroes, really. Django Reinhardt, Mississippi Fred McDowell for sure, Booker White. Yeah. The list's sort of endless, really. Everyone gives you like their bit of themselves, which you sort of try and emulate, try and learn what they're doing, like why they're playing like that, like how they've arrived at the sort of the thing that they do, and then you get into the history of that, and everything, it's endless, it's completely endless. I've got like, I don't know, I haven't even counted how many bits of sort of finger picking guitar playing I've got no idea. I sort of just play what I feel like playing really. So with my solo stuff, yeah, it just depends on what I feel like, and I guess what the vibe of the thing is. Whether you're being introverted or whether it's you're playing to the crowd, or every time you play is a little bit different. With the band, we have our songs that we play, but there's more and more improvisation coming into that as well, which is the fun part really. We forget about the song and see where you end up going. You're going to come back to it at some point, but it's the unknown's the interesting part really. There's some piece of music I've had for like over a decade that I don't know if I'll ever finish. Other things, they just present themselves in a matter of moments and off you go. Yeah. You sort of can't, you can pick time to sit down and work on something, but to sort of, for something to come out, it's just sort of random occurrence really. You can sit down and try and write something for as long as you want, It can be, I've had a period of like a year and a half before where I just couldn't write anything. It's one of the most frustrating things in the world where you're like, am I ever going to write anything ever again? And then, something pops up and all of a sudden you've got 9 or 10 tunes that just come out of a thing. Well, I mean, I think, the whole thing about performing is it's an interaction between, yourself and your bandmates and, and the audience. It's a sort of, it's a two-way process. So the more involvement there is from everybody, the sort of the better the feeling is really. You can give everything yourself, and if you're not getting anything back, it makes it quite hard. Or you can just switch off and just play whatever the hell you want to play. Yeah. But that's that's what you're aiming for. Really. It's an interaction. It's more to do with feeling and vibe really than anything else.
Sure.
It's definitely a sort of a two-way process of sort of communication, and that depends on everybody there becoming involved in that. Actually, I'm going to come back to Case Reader again. I went to watch performances at the Liverpool Philharmonic a number of years ago, and there was a sort of 20-minute talk at the beginning about that. It was addressed very directly, as it is in Indian classical music. And I think that was one of that opened the whole process of playing and listening and involvement of performers and audience much more, because it was this is the thing that we're all looking for. And I guess that's something that people don't necessarily explain so much at a gig.
Yeah.
And maybe they should. Just get loose. Yeah, everybody, let's get loose. This one's I got this in New Zealand in about 2004. It's a Maton from Australia. Maton was the first Australian guitar make. He sort of became famous for using Australian woods, which was sort of largely to do with the sort of high import duty imposed, I think it was 1961, on imported timbers. So this is one of his early ones, one of his 50s, which is I think maple and spruce top. I don't know what the fretboard is. I think that might be an Australian wood actually. So yeah, I think it was one of about 96 made this, and this is a custom job because they're originally an acoustic guitar. It's called an F240 Cutaway Supreme, but this is with the bat wing and the pickups. I believe it's owned by like a jazz player from you. I found it in a music shop in Wellington. I was busking on the street, and I convinced my girlfriend at the time to spend all of our current money on buying this, because I just went in and played it, and I was like, I have to have this. So she was like, yeah, okay, but you're on the street for the next, until this is paid off, you're on the street. So I bought it and went and bust the hell out of it in Australia for about 8 months. So that's where I got that one from. I don't play it very much, but it's a beautiful old thing. This is my national. I've had this for about 12 or 15 years, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I used to listen to Booker White and all those guys in Sun House, and I always really wanted a national. So I had an accident at work and got some compensation money, and the day it came through, went to a shop in Manchester and bought this, which is a complete game changer.
Do you know when it dates from?
Oh, it's a new one.
Oh, it's a new one?
Yeah, it is, yeah. It just looks old because I've beaten the hell out of it. I think it's on its like third set of frets now, and I don't know, maybe like 8th or 9th cone. I don't know how many bits of everything I've gone through on it. It's been all over the world. I mean, it's kept me in food and shelter for a long time. So this is my main sort of guitar that I play. Yeah, it's a beauty. Yeah, one of those things I always wanted one, and as soon as I got one, it like really changed my playing. It's changed my whole everything. It was one of those guitars that was sort of like too good for you when I got it, so I had to spend a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's so loud, and you know, your mistakes are all amplified as well, so there's like not so much room for manoeuvre really. You can't get away with much playing these things. Well, we've just been working on a bunch of new tracks for like for our new album, which is we're going to be recording in January, I think. So we're going to have a little go on this. This is like one of the little ideas. So just imagine this with a fuzz box electric bass and a full drum kit. It's going to go into fuzz and sort of hip hop kind of beats, yeah. Yeah, lovely. That's great. Absolutely great. Well, the last few years I've been doing this sort of like solo resonator guitar stomp box kind of thing with you know, a few different people I've been playing with as well, like Joe Stray's on the harp and a few different drummers and different kind of things. So I just really wanted to have a rock and roll band really and make a rock and roll album. So sort of towards the end of last year, I've been working with a drummer earlier in the year called Toby Murray, and he'd been away working on the cruise ships earning some dollar, and he basically came back and rang me up about 2 days after he got back and was like, I'm not doing this forever. We're going to make a record. I've got us a studio. I've got us a bass player. I've got a month. That's what we're doing. And I was like, wicked, man. So yeah, recorded a lot of the stuff in Bristol. My friend Nathan Evans' studio down near Cumberland Basin down there. It's like his own place. So we're just in there we're in there for a couple of weeks rehearsing, just working up the tunes, bringing the album out in October. It looks like I think the 13th of October is the date we've got earmarked at the moment. I'm working on a new solo album at the moment as well, and a follow-up band album. So we're working pretty hard at the moment, you know, but it's great fun. I've lived in lots of different cities all over the world, and I'm in Bristol. This is the one that I like the most. I moved over here from London because I just ended up being here all the time because it's great, you know. It's a wonderful city for music. It's sort of small enough to get around easily and like know lots of people, big enough to have like a wonderful, vibrant like music culture, and which is on the, you know, it's on the up and up all the time as well. It's a great place to be here at the moment, and you know, just all sorts of different things going on. It's more and more diverse all the time as well, you know. Yeah, Bristol's a wonderful city to be in. I think I keep meeting more musicians I've met from London as well who are living in Bristol. So yeah.